Hey guys, this is HK, and welcome to the first episode of Coach Replay, where we look at replays of coaching sessions, and if they were a paid coach, whether on GamersRdy or from Discord. Towards the end of the video, I will be doing a short review on the session. So for the first replay we're going to be looking at was provided from a session I had with Coach Fakey. He's from GamersRdy, and this was about the time when I was gold trying to hit platinum, and this is a replay analysis of a 2v2 game I sent him. If you'd like to skip the replay and go straight to the review, then there will be a timestamp in the description below to skip straight to the review. But if you're here for the whole thing, then let's get started.
Okay, so yeah, we'll go ahead and just get into it right now then. So just real quick, on the kickoff, do you always drive into it, or do you ever flip
No,
into it?
I was like AFK.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I just wondered.
Yeah.
Because like that's just not bad to drive into. There's times where it's actually good, but there's a lot of times also where it's also good to flip into. That's how I was just curious.
I usually drive into the first one at an angle and then diagonal flip, but then the
Okay.
side flip when I get to it. I can't do the side flip where like that one diagonal. I forgot, like I was watching like a fast kickoff thing, and then I think it was Musty's, and then he talked about how like you want like not a side flip, not a diagonal flip, but like one like in between, and I can't hit that. I just do the straight like 45 diagonal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's I don't think I watched that one, but really when it comes down to it, it's the front flip, side flip, or diagonal flip, and there's some small things in between, but it really doesn't make much of a difference. You know, maybe some high level players for something like that, maybe, but I mean, I haven't heard anything like that ever of playing. So really, yeah, if you do diagonal flip, that's good. So, but yeah, so we're gonna be focusing a lot on twos. Like I said, it's not a whole lot of fundamentals, but one of the biggest fundamentals is positioning and possession. Possession in twos is the key to winning twos. And with it goes possession, it's about not wasting any hits. Not as in always keep the ball on you, but it's more about the possession as in making good hits and not just throwing the ball away to the other team. So let's go for an example right here. So the ball turns and you go to turn on it right here. He doubles commit. He doesn't see you, your teammate, but that's okay. But right here, so one person's up, so he can't hit the ball. And then you let's say your teammate wasn't there. Let's say he's still back, but where you hit it right mid to the opponent. So right there, you wasted a hit because you just hit it right at him. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to hit the ball like this, and we're also gonna work on something. I want you to look when you're not currently going to hit the ball or getting ready to hit the ball. Try to look at the field. I call it master's play awareness, but we'll refer to it as field awareness. And because if you know what the opponents are doing, where they're positioned, which way the cars are facing, you get an idea of where they're going to go and what they're going to do. So, for example, you turn the ball here and you see him rotating back to his net to midfield. Then you notice, okay, I probably should have hit it either to the right side or the left side, and not midfield because he's rotating back to midfield, and you saw him coming towards you, so that means his car is facing at you. So when you hit it, you see he was ready for it. So that's what I mean by that example. And luckily he missed, but you want to try to possession, make good hits, not waste any hits, and that was what you would call a wasted hit because you just gave the ball right back to him. So so that's something we'll work on a lot more. We'll go much more in depth into it as we play and as I kind of see you play some more too. And when you watch me play and the opponents play,
So as far as that example, one thing is also, I guess I don't know how hard I can hit the ball. I think that moment I thought I could shoot it like at the goal.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So actually, let's go back to that real quick. Then.
Yeah, but there's like looking at it now, I missed by a mile, right? But then at the time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna shoot it.
Yeah, and if that was a harder, straighter hit, it would have been a much tougher save for him to do. But since it was the weaker hit, it kind of went right in front of him. So, well, and since you're kind of at the gold to the diamond, or I mean gold to plat, my bad. One thing you get, there's times you can get good hits, other times you don't get good hits. By good hits, I mean hard hits. Getting hard hits on the ground, for you guys, because there's just some aerial play, but really not a whole lot, in that kind of area. If you can get good hard ground hits or hits from wherever you're at, that'll make a big difference in your play, especially in twos, because you'll see a lot of people always kind of come up more than they're not supposed to, especially your guys' rank. And if you can get hard hits from wherever you're at and just clear it downfield, a lot of times they won't be ready for it and it'll go right over their heads. So, for example, when you want to hit this ball, you always want to try to hit it with the corner of your car. So, you did everything good right here. You turned, and before you jumped, you lined your car up within, your car is somewhat facing the ball, right? A lot of players will kind of jump and then try to turn their car and boost, and they can't get a good hit. So you line your car up pretty good for the most part. You go into it, and you want to keep your like the left or right of your car, the corner, kind of like in the middle of the ball. So right now you let it come close to you, and now it was the middle of your car hit the middle of the ball. If you would have turned your car a little bit to the right, for example, right before you hit it. So always slow it down actually so I can talk while we're doing this. So you turn on it. Very good. You're lined up really good for a corner hit. If you would have kept your car facing to the right there and then do a diagonal flip to the left, you would have actually hit that a lot harder, like the hard hit you wanted. It might not have gone in, but it would have been a lot harder and a lot faster, and it wouldn't have dropped down so fast and much harder to save. So that's how you're gonna get those hard hits that you want to get all the time. So I have a training pack that I have a lot of people do to get better at these hard hits. So I'll give that to you, work on that as well. But as you're watching this replay, you notice, okay, I didn't do that there, or oh, I did do that there. That's why I got a hard hit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So on your defense, on these aerial saves, do you normally miss aerial saves? Like, not normally, like, let's the 50-50. Is it a 50-50 chance you're going to hit it, yes or no, when it's an aerial save?
I'd say so, probably.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely... I know my goalie could use a lot of work.
Okay. Just curious, because like... So in this situation, he already pre-jumped. You're kind of going to have to get it now kind of like a good hit or a 50 here because he did pre-jump that early. So yeah, so with the whole saves, that's just really is his training packs, working on that. So we can definitely get something for that. So we'll go ahead and like kind of put that to the side, 'cause that's something to work on later. That's something you can work on like in game, kind of. That's something you put in practice in training. So we're gonna put that on the side. I was just kind of curious on the saves. I like that. So a lot of players at your guys' ranks would have decided to go ahead and just challenge that ball right there. Hold on. But you didn't, and that's good because right. Remember when you're playing twos and your teammate's taking it downfield, and so he has a ball, so he's the first man, right? And you're the second man. So he's taking it downfield, and at this moment where he goes past the ball, he loses control, he backs off the ball. You become the first man. So if he's not rotating back to you, or if he either turns around or whatever it is, you don't want to always commit hard like this, because if he goes past the ball like he just did, and if you would have went here, that'd been very bad because he's going into their net, and then if you would have missed or even got a bad 50, that would have put you guys way out of position. They would have scored. So I'm glad that you realized that you saw your teammate, miss the ball completely. You were the last man, and you backed off, and you're trying to create time for your teammate to go back and get boost. So I just want to point out that was something good. So hopefully we don't see you doing the other thing, but I want to make sure that that some of the things you're doing right, that you keep doing right when we play. I don't want you just to forget everything good that you're doing.
Okay.
So it was really good. Good up taking it up the wall.
All right, that's the big problem for me. I can't.
Wall hits and wall.
Off the backboard,
okay,
I have a hard time shooting it like towards clearing it this way. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can show you something like that when we go into private match or something like that. But right now, so when you do stuff like this, the key is staying kind of behind the ball. So right here, you want to stay with it. And right at this moment, you go past it, and you kind of screwed yourself already. It's going to be a hard time getting a hit. When you go up and hit the ball like this, you want to try to stay behind it. And that means probably not boosting the whole time. You just kind of would slow down a little bit and try to stay with it. You would have got a nicer, softer hit and be in control. After you go past it like that, it's always really hard to try to get back to it. So that's something we'll work on, and I'll show you later. So that's okay. We'll go ahead and kind of make a little side note for that right now.
Oh, if you rewind real quick.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, go back to right before this. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Here, I wanted to try to put the ball on my car, but I was just mechanically unable to do so. I was I probably should have just kept going there. And then here I thought maybe if I boosted into it, I would pop it up, but instead it just went forward. Yeah. I guess I just wanted to kind of talk about what my mindset is, except I don't have the mechanical skill to back it up. I wanted to put it on my head to try to dribble it in, kind of thing. But instead this happened.
Yeah, and that's all right. I'm glad that you told me your mindset. We'll call it that, because if you have the right idea and a lot of this stuff, and you want to do the right thing, not the wrong thing, that's good, because then if you know you want to do the right thing, then it comes down to just kind of putting the practice and the hours and the mechanics in, and we're past the part of you having to learn not the right decision, but the best decision. So that's good. I'm glad you told me that, because and if you other times, if you mess up, but you say, okay, I wanted to do this, and you let me know again, because I want to tell you if, okay, yeah, that was the right decision, or that was probably not the best decision.
Right, that was kind of my question. Was that have been better than just trying to?
Yeah. So let's look back to it real quick.
Right, and then when I missed it, I was like, I guess I'll just try to bang it into the corner and then hopefully get a set.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay, so
the moment I
go
missed
ahead.
the dribble, I was like, I guess I can either send it midfield, but I wasn't sure how close my teammate was. I guess I should have checked. And
Yeah.
then I was like, no, I'll just bang in the corner because that'll give him more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back 2 more times. Okay. So your teammate was on their side last time you saw him. Take it upfield. Okay, he's back in net right now. So he's back in net. So at this moment, he lets you have the ball. So he's gonna either be behind you or midfield. Those are the two things you gotta be ready for. A lot of times even I won't know where they're at. But last time you saw your teammate, he was in the net or he was midfield or whatever. So you just gotta be ready to think, hey, he's either gonna follow me up or he's gonna stay at midfield normally most of the time like that. But so yeah, so that's okay. But so let's talk about the so you went to dribble here. So at this time right here. This is when because this is your your chance. Okay, I want to dribble this, or I'm not gonna dribble this. You have so much open space, so going to dribble for this is really good. Because if you just hit it hard, again, you would just be wasting a hit, giving away possession to them. Whenever you have space like this, let's say 8 out of 10 times you want to dribble, because it's a good way to keep possession of the ball, control the ball, and that way you can try to at least bait one of them out and try to flick it over him, or whatever, or try to hit it past him. So yeah, so I agree that the best decision definitely was to dribble here, and that's going to be, like I said, 8 out of 10 times is that's what you're going to want to do when you have this much space. And then I made a training pack for people to get better at car control, just to be able to get the ball in their car, keep it in their car, take it back and forth, left to right, into the net, whatever it is. So again, I'll go ahead. I have a training pack for that we can work on. So far you got the saves and the training packs for the car control. And then we have the wall hits, but that's kind of something that the wall game is something I'll show you just in a private match. So yeah, so right here, after you lose the dribble, you want to dribble. That's the right idea. That's okay. Well, we'll work on that so you can do that. So right here, so right when you lose it, this is the chance where you decide to take it up the wall, hit it hard. Or a lot of times, another good idea a lot of players don't do is they don't just try to stay behind it, stay with it, and try to get a 50. Because a lot of times, you could win a 50 or get a 50-50, and it might work out better for you, and it might even take them out of the play, or vice versa. But that's how a 50-50 works. So if you just kind of, so that right there wasn't a bad idea. Try to hit it up the wall, hit it harder, and send it downfield.
Yeah, there I wanted to demo him, the other guy.
No, that's good. Demo plays, block plays like that, they work a lot, and you want to do them normally when you're the first man after you try to do a pass or something like this. After you get it past the first person, okay, one person's left in the net, and you want to go for a bump or a demo or whatever. Yeah, so that would be a good play. Yeah, so I'm really glad that you're seeing that, because a lot of times, when the goalie's waiting in net, waiting, they might wait just a half a second too long. You can take that advantage, either bump them out of the net or just destroy them, and your teammate get the open net. So that was a good idea, and I like that. But like I said, so right there, good hit, you can do that. Or like I said, you could have kept possession of it, because at this moment, with he kind of went on the wall, he kind of would have had to get a high 50 on the wall onto you, and you'd been below the ball. So he would have hit it midfield, you would have been below it, so it would have pushed that ball back down to you, and you would have won that 50. That's kind of an example of how it works, But yeah, so I want to let you know that's another option that you can do. You can go ahead and go for a 50 if you need to, because like I said, if you can even get a good 50 or even just completely win it, that takes that one guy out of the play, and you're still with the ball. So just because a lot of times, when I lose dribbles, I'll go ahead and kind of just stay with it and try to get a good 50. So that's something else you can also do. But right here, what you tried doing, that wasn't a bad play at all. That was a nice try. Good far rotation. I like that. Good save. I like the use of your ball cam. Let's go back to this. So even going back here, you did a good job of okay, shit, I got to get back. You did a good job of making sure you're getting boost pads, and also that you're watching the ball. That right there, champ level players, low level champ players, high diamonds don't do that. That's another really fundamental mechanic that low players don't do. So it's really good. Keep that up. That's something you should quote unquote be proud of. A lot of players don't do that. So yeah, so that was a good attempt there. So yeah, that was a really good shot actually. So Unfortunately, it wasn't the power you wanted on it, but it still worked out for you. You
Yeah, it
had the right
definitely
idea.
wasn't. I was just like,
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
right. So I always thought. I mean, I have no idea, but like, I can only flick at a very specific time. Imagine like the lifespan of a dribble from 0 to 100, right? I can only flick from like 70 to 80 or like 80 to 90 whenever it falls to that perfect spot on my card by
Yeah.
chance.
Where it's not bouncing or anything like that. I know exactly what
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about.
So I'm just kind of like, I don't understand how like, you Grand Champ players can just flick it anytime you want. And I remember I actually asked one of the Grand Champs on Discord, and he was telling me it's just because you guys know that many flicks that you can flick it from any position on the card versus
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how do you put it in position for a flick at the instant you want to flick? And then he was like, you don't. You just use the right flick at the
Yeah,
position that
exactly.
it's at. Is that correct? Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
that was
so
correct.
that's what it is. And a lot of that goes into with, we know what to do. Also, when the ball is bouncing on our car. So let's go back one more time. So it's bouncing here, right? So it bounces. So a lot of times, a lot of us time our flicks either right when it hits our car or right before. For example, like if it right before it hits your car, if you jump into it, you're not gonna jump very high because it's kind of gonna push you back down, and the ball's not really gonna bounce off of you because at the very last second before it hit your car, so it's kind of gonna stay with you. And a lot of players get that that quick flick, off the right before it hits off their car to get that flick. So it's also yeah, we do the correct flick for the correct position, but a lot of this comes into with like I said, getting that ball in a perfect spot. Well, a lot of times it's not going to always be in that perfect spot, like you just said, actually. So, if you can kind of time, if it is bouncing, if you can time the ball when it bounces, or at least when it's coming down to you to go for your flick, then that's when it's going to kind of like flick off your car or even bounce off your car. And that's where you see a lot of like us flick it, within that point, that half a second, we flick it right away because we have to. And we also get that good flick because we aren't, trying to flick it after it bounces off our car, because normally then that's just us flying past the ball and the ball stays back where we were at.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so and so with this, you're already being able to do the flick. You had decent actually really good car control there. And you try to, a 45-degree flick. A lot of players do that. It's a good flick. You get good height and good speed. Unfortunately, the speed wasn't there that time, but it was still good height, and he wasn't ready for it. So, so with the whole like that. Okay, hold on, let me think how I'm gonna word this. So yeah, so that dribble is good, and you had good car control. So now that you already have that, when we go to this training pack that I'm gonna give to you later, for car control, basically it's gonna be, so you spawn with the ball, and it starts off with you kind of bouncing in front of you. You catch it, you try to take it to the to the net, and then it gets harder and harder as you spawn sideways, you spawn backwards, you spawn way in the left corner of the field backwards. You gotta carry it all the way to the field, and that way it helps you get turn with the ball, with boost, no boost, helps you make sharp turns or whatever it is, and that'll help you with car control and being able to kind of like be more comfortable and confident. And that's really, because keeping the ball in your car really isn't that hard, especially in training. What's hard is doing it in a game consistently, right?
Yeah.
So if we can get that, when you practice keeping the ball in the car and practice dribbling, it's not really a practicing the mechanic dribbling and car control, because the mechanic is a flick. Keeping it on your car really is difficult. It's actually building up your confidence, and giving that consistency to do it in a game. So yeah, being able to already do that, there's good flick, good control as well. That I think after you practice it some more, you'll be able to do it a lot more and much more frequently. And also, if you want to know some more flicks, I can also show you some of those as well.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna be one of the things I was gonna ask you about, because I feel like as far as there's a couple mechanics I really want to help with, and I can watch the video 1,000 times, but I don't know the nuance as to like why I'm failing. Like the whole like backboard thing where you mentioned that I shouldn't have boosted past the ball, like that's like huge. Like I would have never gotten that from watching a backboard clear video, so that's like already like super helpful. That like
awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. With you saying that real quick, a lot of players, like when I tell them these tiny little things, I have to kind of repeat it, and I would probably repeat it with you just to get it across to you, because a lot of players kind of just brush off something tiny like that. But sometimes some of the smallest little things, fundamental things, mechanical things, can make a big difference. Like it's something that I haven't seen it do a whole lot of, actually any of it. But a lot of players, they'll stop, like they'll still actually stop in like the middle of the field, and it'll kill their momentum. They have to use more boost to get their speed back and everything. And I told them that try to make little turns or something like that. Don't ever try to stop unless you're going into the net, because killing your momentum means you're going 0 miles per hour. It takes longer to get faster, longer to get to the ball, takes more boost to get to the ball. So that little thing kind of branches off in a bunch of little things that you don't want to happen. So yeah, so like I said, little things make a big difference in this game especially.
I think I definitely do that though when I stop, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I do it here, but it's definitely like sometimes I'm just like, oh man, what I
Yeah.
do? But
And that's all right, because a lot of times, especially when you guys see a fly in the air, from the opponent or your teammate, you guys kind of stop and look at it for a second, and you guys kind of, I would say prepare, get ready to go for the shot or get ready to jump up, whatever it is. And, and what we want to do is we want you to keep moving and keep that momentum so it's easier to get to the ball. And yeah, and that's just, that kind of comes in with getting used to the ball is playing more and stuff like that. But if you know not to stop, you'll be surprised how much, it'll feel more fluent, you'll play a little faster, it'll feel smoother. So right here, you did a good job, not getting too close, kind of following the ball. I shadow defense, really good. So yeah, so right there, it was close, unfortunate, but I like that right here. You still turned around because you knew that he wasn't gonna be able to hit it from where he was at. Excuse me. So you got ready to get back into play. Unfortunately, he got a nice little catch and he got it past you, and that's okay. Going for kind of risky stuff in twos, that's okay. Goals are going to be scored on you, and you're going to score goals, especially with twos. There's only 4 people on the field. There's going to be a lot of goals scored, and that's okay because you can still get it back. So, but when this happens, this kind of comes into you knowing, okay, or not knowing, but you weighing, is this too risky for me to go at this moment? Like, okay, I'm up by 1. Maybe I shouldn't go for this. Maybe I should just go back and wait for him. Or, hey, we're tied. I need to go for it anyways. Or, hey, we're down. I need to try to open up a play. So that right there, decision making really comes down to you weighing it on the field or whatever. So that's all right. But I like that you just didn't instantly go all the way back, because if he would have missed, for example, you wouldn't have been there to make it that open net. So I like that you don't just run away from the play. You stay in the play even right after you just hit the ball. That was really good. That's perfectly fine. He was no danger at all. He couldn't do anything strong with that ball. He couldn't really get a good shot on net from there. Perfectly fine there, kind of tossing it to him and getting that boost. That's perfectly fine.
yeah,
I
think in
Go
my
ahead.
mind I didn't want to hit it that far.
Yeah, yeah. That was a little dangerous, but by the time he actually made contact with the ball, I mean, he was already kind of just in bad position. And with that, I do it a lot too. I'll kind of tap it in a kind of a place where they can't do a whole lot with it, and I'll make them waste their hit kind of thing and go get boost or just wait for them to hit it back at me or so on. So that's also something, a tactic you can do if you need to. If you can't get a good hit, maybe do a good hit, as in like making them get a bad hit. So yeah, but that was perfectly fine with you right here. Here you realize your teammate sideways can get to the ball. Did a good job keeping possession of the ball. Very good there. Not letting him have it. It was all right. Like I said, we're working on wall hits. We'll go ahead and kind of just brush past that right now. We'll work on those after the replay. Unfortunate. That's going to happen. No big deal. Okay, so this kind of goes into what I was saying a little bit earlier. So off the kickoff, whatever, 50-50, no big deal. Okay, so right here, like I said, you're not currently hitting the ball. So remember, go ahead and look at the field as in look at the opponents. So you see one guy getting boost, right? Easy to see. And then so really, okay, where's the other guy at? And you just look down, right to the left of your screen, you see, okay, there he is, and his car is facing my way. He's probably ready to hit it. So at that moment, you think, okay, I should probably, you have low boost, I probably can get to this ball. I should probably go back and get ready for the save or whatever it needs to be. But instead, you turn towards the ball because I'm guessing you're looking at the ball and not the field, correct?
Yeah, I think I was definitely looking only at DZ because I was like, oh, he went for boost instead of ball. I'm gonna go for the ball, but I did not think of the other guy for sure.
Yeah, and they said this is kind of a early mechanic for you guys, but like I said, like I see a lot of good things fundamentally from you already. So I feel like definitely if I can kind of start at least letting this be known to you, so you kind of definitely something we should work on. But at least if you know it now, when you keep playing and you get used to it, you can build upon it early, because it kind of isn't really an advanced mechanic, but there, it's kind of like that's something kind of it takes your what was I'm looking for. Takes your focus off the ball sometimes, and right now we're kind of focusing trying to get those good hits, and stuff like that. So that kind of butts heads a little bit. But I want to go ahead and let this be known to you because your fundamentals look really good already. So, so on stuff like this, especially if you're the first man, if you're not going to hit the ball, like you're not boosting towards it already, or you're not up for it, remember, look at the field, and that doesn't mean it's one person. Look at the whole field. That's why I call it map/play awareness, because it's not just, oh, I see that player. Okay, look at the rest of the field, and you can probably see the other player. And you just would have known here, I should probably go back, and not go forward. Because right there, you took yourself out of the play. You couldn't go forward or anything, and it puts your teammate in a tough position. So, good fast aerial way to get there. Good boost snag. Unfortunate hit by your teammate. Oh, real quick, yeah, I forgot. So I'm guessing you probably solo queue most of the time.
Yeah.
You probably don't play with a lot. Okay, yeah. All right, I just wanted to make sure real quick.
In threes, I do play with friends, but like I said, I don't really want to focus on threes anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Let's go back and watch that real quick. So good job there, letting him hit it into you. Good pinch. All right, so again, so they kind of stopped there. So right here, you either gotta get ready to go hit it, or you gotta turn around. You kind of like stopped and hesitated, and you just that wasn't really such a terrible position to do it because you got his boost anyways. But let's say he had boost, he probably would have followed that, and you would have been stuck in the mud trying to boost all the way to catch up to him. So either if you're not gonna commit to it, go ahead and turn around and try to keep up your momentum and stuff like that. Don't ever try to stop moving. So
Gotcha.
That's the first time I ever saw that, and that even wasn't a very dangerous one. So I'm not really too worried about it right now. But I just want to let you remind you. Okay, so when you're shadow defending like this, all right. So he turns the ball. You realize you can get to it. That providing you turn like you're supposed to. You good. That's good. At this moment, okay, the net was let's say it's on the right. This is of your screen. It's on the right of your screen. So, and you're kind of at the wall, so it's still it's pretty far midfield. So right here, you're not positioning yourself in between the ball and the net. You know what I mean? Right now, if that ball was to go straight to the net, nobody's there to save it. So if you get a hard hit here, it'd been really hard to save. A lot of players, if you got any more to the midfield, you probably wouldn't have gotten to it because they get a nice hard hit. They're really hard to save from that angle because he has a wide open net, and you're kind of just off to the side of the net, and you're not even kind of at it. Know what I mean? Kind of out to the goalie line. So
yeah. So I had a question about shadow defense actually. I had like a list of questions I was gonna ask through.
That's perfectly fine.
For the so I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't sure as regards to shadow defense where I'm supposed to be positioned because. What if say I was closer to the net between him and the ball, between the ball and the net, then what if he just rolls it along the right side, like all the way? Like
yeah,
yeah.
So I got you. You mean like past you to the right into the net? Or like, I understand what you mean. Do you mean as in right side? You mean like he rolls it behind you?
Like he just rolls it towards the corner and along the corner.
Okay, so for example, hold on, let me back it up real quick. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. So right here, he goes to hit it, and let's say he hit it, at the corner of the net right now, the far corner. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, I guess in this example he can't really do it anyways. I'll bring it up later. The question I had. Cool. Yeah.
But okay, anyway, so right here though, try to position yourself in between the net and the ball. And by that I mean don't be like in the middle of the net, but kind of try to position yourself at the near post. Because if you can't hit it behind you, they can only hit it in front of you, and it's much easier to save it if your car is facing the way that the rest of the net is at, so you can boost towards it and stuff like that. So try to position yourself right now in between the ball and the near post. And this situation happens a lot actually. You know what I mean? I think this happens a decent amount in 2s and 3s. So remember you try shadow defending like this. Try to position yourself within the ball and the near post. That way he can only hit it in front of you. It makes it a lot harder for him to get the shot and much easier for you to save the ball, all right?
Gotcha.
Oops. So yeah, again, the wall, we'll work on that probably right after we're done with this, so that's all right. We'll kind of work on that right now. So there, so it's actually what I was talking about earlier. So right here, bad hit, whatever it is. But right now, when you jump, you position yourself in between the ball and the net. So if he would have hit it, try to hit it into the net, it would have hit into you, and it would have probably been a better hit, for you than him. So right there, that's what I'm talking about. Be in a position yourself like that almost all the time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, so that was really good what they did right there. And yeah, he didn't get the hit, but he completely missed. I mean, and your teammate should have, went up there, but he was playing a little scared. That's all right. But yeah, so that was I want to point that out. That was a good, you know, he was getting to the ball first, but you instead of going to the ball, you went to a spot where it'd be really hard for him to make the shot, almost impossible, if you position yourself there, for example. And that's why I always say try to do it in between at least the ball and the near post, because then if it's on the the same by near post, you mean what I mean, like the ball and the post are on the same side. If you position yourself within that area, they have to normally get a wide angle, and it's really hard for them to get those wide angles and get good power on it. So. Good hit there. Good. Perfectly good time to get boost. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So with that right there, yeah. So I like the idea you had, but remember, because when you stop and let it roll into you, it's gonna do that almost every single time. That's perfectly fine because you want to hit up in the air, you want to boost into it and follow it, correct?
Sorry, play it again. Let me.
So yeah, but you basically you want to do this right here, right? But when you want to get it on target, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's perfectly good play here. But so your car isn't facing it right now, right? And then right when you hit it, right now, look at where the ball is hitting, on the corner of your car. So that's gonna go straight to the corner. See, and pretty much what it did. It did the corner of your car, so it went diagonal. Whenever you whenever the ball is coming to you like that, and you want to let it hit into you and pop it up, you always want to try to get it normally square in your car, so it's easier to follow. Because you would have got it, square in front of your car, it would have been more the hit would have been more straight. It would have been more centered, and it'd been easier to follow. But since you hit it with the corner of your car like that, it hits it off to a diagonal angle, and it's much harder to follow. So whenever you try to do those, just try to get the front end of your car, the front end of your car on it. So.
Oh yeah, excuse me. I've kind of a cough, so you can hear me coughing.
All right. Yeah, so pretty much like right there, that wasn't bad. You had a lot of boost. You can't really, get it on top of your car. So right now, you want to try to stay behind the ball, try to get a good 50. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So instead of trying to get it past him right here with no boost, the best idea, even if you have boost, if you don't have really, it's just in front of you, always try to go for a 50. Because you were to stop it kind of in front of his net, your teammate probably could have came up and tried to make a play. So whenever you lose control of the dribble, let's just say that for example, try to stay with it and stay behind it and try to get a good 50. All right.
Okay.
That's normally in twos. If you're the first man, that's the best decision you can probably do 9 out of 10 times. So. Good job turning there. Close play. Good boost snag. Again, we'll work on wall hits. No big deal. Kind of shake that off right now. So yeah. So real quick note. Even though like at this moment it's a low time, it's kind of out in front of your net. Nobody's there. It's a scary moment. But you want to try to stay in control. You don't want you to hold the boost on, try to get to the ball. Remember, try to stay in control. Yeah, I'm saying
bumping this guy.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole control. And that's what I see most players, even in the GC rank, people they break down almost. I would say they go in that panic situation, in that low time when it's tied or they're down or whatever it is. They get in that panic mode, and it always ends up something like this: double commit, or that's the double commit would bump each other. That's what happens a lot of the time. So remember to stay in control. Your teammates in front of you, let them try to block it, and you'll be in net to save it. Just remember to stay in control and don't try to panic in that situation. So yeah, even if you got a high hit here, he was all the way back in net. That was been pretty easy save from no matter what. So here would be another good example of trying to keep control right here.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you want to just get a hit, try to do like a softer hit, just kind of like get it pushed forward, but you can also stay with it. Don't flip into it. Maybe just kind of give it a touch. Drive into it. That way you still have possession. You can stay with the ball, and it also kind of draws them out. You know what I mean? They see the ball hit and they think, okay, now I can challenge. But if you're still with it, you maybe get a second hit before they get to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, when you have space like that, you want to use use that space. It's when I say possession game, it's about not really wasting hits. And right there, that would be considered a wasted hit because it was a hard hit, hard to follow. They're quote unquote, one was in net, one was getting ready to be back in net. He was right there. So remember, try to keep possession, try to at least draw one person out and try to set up a play. All right. Good shot from your teammate there. I'm guessing that's the end of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Hey guys, so if you made it this far, or if you just skipped here for the review, I just want to start off by saying thank you for watching again. And to kick things off, I just want to start by saying that Coach Fakey was awesome. The session was 2 hours long, and I'm not going to show the rest of it because I think most of it is probably going to be really boring to anyone but me. But that's the thing. The coaching session felt very tailored, and I had my reservations at first, like, oh, I'm just gold, I'm only a couple weeks into the game, am I really gonna get anything out of this? And the short answer is yes, absolutely you will. Getting coaching early helped me build a solid foundation, and it gave me a lot of confidence to work on the things I was working on, knowing that, like, oh yeah, those are good things to work on, and vice versa. It helped me identify some things that I was working on that I really didn't need to be working on just yet, or I was going at those mechanics or mentality completely wrong. There's just so many things about a one-on-one coaching session that you just can't get from watching videos or practicing on your own or watching your own replays. It's like getting an essay proofread. Like, getting another person to take a look is just so helpful at spotting things that you would never notice. And as far as Fakey's coaching goes, I remember I was very nervous and kind of uncomfortable at the idea of showing someone so high level my replay, but Fakey was great at making me feel comfortable and being very supportive while staying incredibly informative. He's very detail oriented, and in the later parts of our session that I didn't show here, we were working on mechanics. He was able to help me identify exactly why I was failing at certain mechanics and what adjustments I need to make to be a little more consistent. And if you notice during the replay, he would prescribe training packs like he was a doctor prescribing medicine or something. I always thought that was kind of funny, but really, the training packs he gave were really great to run through. It was challenging, but it didn't feel outside the realm of being unable to do them for my skill level. And I just have to say, after the session, I didn't really feel like a performance gain or the effects right away, but it definitely took like a weight off my shoulders, because I had this feeling of being stuck and worried that I'm just not getting better, and I didn't know if what I was working on was just completely wrong. So getting that kind of confirmation just took that feeling away, and I was just like, okay, yes, what I'm working on is eventually going to make me better. I just gotta keep grinding it out. So getting that confirmation kind of like steered me in the right direction. And Fakey, if you're watching this, thanks again, you were great. As mentioned before, if you're interested in contacting him, then his information is in the description below. Thanks for watching the first episode. If there's any suggestions to these, or if there's any particular coach you want me to get in touch with on GamersRdy, let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best. Thanks for watching.